Arena, the leaderboard that ranks AI models, just became a $100 million company, and almost nobody noticed. Here's what makes this absolutely wild. This website is where every serious AI researcher and developer checks whether their model is any good. It's the global de facto benchmark. Imagine if there was one site that ranked every chess player on Earth and every single competitive player checked it daily to see where they stood. That's Arena for AI. But for years, it wasn't even a company. What's Arena? It's a leaderboard. You go to the site, you see the top AI models ranked by performance. Claude is there. GPT-4o is there. Gemini, QN. Thousands of researchers have submitted their models to Arena to see how they compare against the established players. The whole thing runs on an low rating system, the same mathematical framework chess uses. Users come to Arena. They ask different models the same question, they vote on which response is better, and the leaderboard updates in real time based on those votes. For the longest time, Arena was just a UC Berkeley research project. No business model, no company, just volunteers and academic interest. Then last year something shifted. Arena spun into an actual company. Now it's valued at $100 million. That's not Anthropic money, but it's serious. The question is, how do you build a $100 million business out of something you're giving away for free? Arena didn't start as a commercial thing at all. It was born in 2023 as a research project at UC Berkeley. A team of researchers wanted a better way to evaluate the exploding number of AI models hitting the market. Every company was claiming their model was the best. Llama was the best. Mistral was the best. OpenAI's models were the best. There was no trusted, independent way to actually test these claims. So UC Berkeley built Arena to crowdsource that evaluation. The concept was brilliant in its simplicity. Let the public vote. Let researchers vote. Let developers vote. Thousands of comparisons a day, all feeding into a single, transparent ranking. You can see exactly how many matches each model has played, what the matchups were, the full voting history. It's open, it's transparent. That's why it became the standard so quickly. For 2 years, Arena was run almost entirely by volunteers and academic funding. It was free. You could vote, you could see the leaderboard, you could compare models, all zero cost. But running a global AI leaderboard actually costs money. You need servers, you need to host the data, you need to maintain the infrastructure. Around mid-2025, the original team realized they had something bigger on their hands than a research project. They had built the trusted standard for evaluating AI, so they spun it into a real company and started raising money to scale it up properly. And that's just the beginning. Let's walk through how Arena actually works, because the system is genius. At its core, it's a low rating system, the exact same math that's been tracking chess dominance since 1960. If you've ever seen a chess rating, you understand how this works. Every AI model starts at a baseline rating. When two models are compared by a user, the winner gains points and the loser loses points. The amount of points that change depends on how unexpected the outcome was. If a low-ranked model beats a high-ranked model, that's a massive upset. The low-ranked model gains a lot of points. If a high-ranked model crushes a low-ranked one, it's expected, so minimal points change. Here's where the crowdsourcing part matters. Users go to Arena and they ask the same question to two randomly selected models. They read both responses. They vote on which one is better. That single vote gets fed into the ALO calculation and the rankings update. With thousands of votes per day across millions of users, the system self-corrects constantly. A model can't game it the way a company's internal benchmark can. You can't just say your model is best, you have to earn it through real-world comparisons against actual competitors. What makes Arena trusted is that it's not controlled by any single company. OpenAI doesn't run Arena. Google doesn't. Anthropic doesn't. It's independent. And that independence is worth serious money. This is where it gets complicated. So what does the actual Arena leaderboard look like right now? Claude Opus is consistently in the top spots. GPT-4o trades the top position depending on the category. Gemini models are competitive. Then you've got DeepSeek models that have surprised everyone with their performance. QN's reasoning model, Llama, Mistral. The list goes on, dozens of models, all ranked by real user votes. The brilliant part is the transparency. You can click on any model and see its full match history. You can see that Claude Opus has played roughly 50,000 matches against other models and won 60% of them. You can see which models it tends to lose to and which ones it dominates. You can see the exact prompts users submitted and both responses side by side. It's all public. Compare that to how companies normally benchmark their models: closed, internal, designed to make themselves look good. Arena also has different categories. You can compare models on reasoning, on creative writing, on coding, on common sense. Different models perform differently depending on the task. That nuance is exactly what's missing from vendor benchmarks. A model might be great at math, but weaker at writing. Arena shows you all of it. That granular truth is what researchers and developers have been craving. And now billions of users worldwide are using Arena to figure out which AI tool is actually best, instead of trusting a company's marketing claims. And here's where it gets interesting. Here's why Arena became so valuable so fast. It solved a massive credibility problem. Before Arena, how did you know if a new AI model was actually good? You read the company's white paper. You looked at their internal benchmarks. But here's the thing: companies benchmark their own models. They have huge incentives to make the numbers look good. They can choose which tests to run, which tests to exclude, what counts as a win and what doesn't. It's not corruption exactly, but it's a system designed to favor whoever wrote it. Arena flipped that dynamic entirely. Users evaluate models blind. They don't know which model is which when they are voting. So a startup's new model gets the same fair treatment as GPT-4o. That's revolutionary in an industry where marketing and hype usually matter as much as actual capability. Researchers realized this instantly. When you're building a model, Arena became the truth teller. If Arena says your model is weaker than competitors, that's real feedback from thousands of real human judges. That matters. Companies started checking Arena religiously. Investors started asking about Arena rankings in funding conversations. The government and policymakers started citing Arena numbers when discussing AI safety and capability. That's when it became clear this wasn't just a fun leaderboard anymore. This was infrastructure. This was essential to how the entire AI industry evaluates progress. Once something becomes that fundamental, it doesn't stay a volunteer project forever. But wait, there's something nobody's talking about. So now Arena is a $100 million company. The obvious question: how does it make money? Right now, the core leaderboard is still free. You can still vote. You can still see the rankings. It costs nothing. But a company valued at $100 million isn't free forever. What are the monetization paths? One angle is API access. Researchers and companies might pay for programmatic access to Arena's data. Real-time rankings, historical voting data, model performance analytics. That's valuable for anyone building or evaluating AI. Another angle is premium features, detailed analytics, custom evaluations, the ability to run private leaderboards for your own models before releasing them publicly. Companies would pay for that. But here's the bigger picture. Arena might not make its money from the leaderboard directly. The real value might be that Arena becomes the standard for AI evaluation. And that standard becomes the foundation for a much larger business. Think about it. If Arena is the trusted benchmark for AI quality, then any company with a stake in that evaluation has incentives to work with Arena. They could become the neutral third party that all of AI development orbits around. That's the $100 million opportunity. It's not about squeezing money out of a leaderboard. It's about becoming the trusted infrastructure layer that the entire AI industry depends on. And this is what nobody predicted. If you want to understand AI performance right now, Arena is where you actually go. Here's how to use it. Visit the Arena leaderboard website. You'll see the live rankings of dozens of AI models. Click on any model and you get its detailed stats, how many matches it's played, win rate, performance in different categories. You can see the models ranked overall or filtered by category, coding, writing, reasoning, whatever you want. But the real magic happens when you participate. You can submit your own questions to Arena. You pose a prompt. Arena selects two random models. You get both responses. You vote on which one is better. That single vote becomes part of the data that ranks these models. If thousands of people do this, the leaderboard becomes more accurate. You're literally shaping how we evaluate AI. Developers use Arena constantly. If you're building an app and you need to decide whether to use GPT-4o or Claude or Gemini, Arena gives you real data about which one is better at your specific task. Researchers use it to see how their model stacks up against the competition. Students use it to understand which AI tool is best for their needs. Even large companies use Arena if you're evaluating whether to integrate this model or that one. Arena's voting data is more trustworthy than vendor claims. The leaderboard updates in real time as votes come in. Here's what the $100 million valuation actually signals. AI evaluation is becoming serious infrastructure. It's no longer something companies handle internally. It's no longer a fun side project at a university. It's essential. The entire industry depends on it to understand progress. This matters for you because it means the future of AI development is getting measured in the open. Every major model release will be evaluated on Arena. Every benchmark claim will be tested against user votes. That transparency forces companies to actually build better models instead of just marketing harder. That's genuinely good for AI safety too. If models can't hide their weaknesses behind closed benchmarks, everyone knows what the real capabilities and limitations are. The flip side is that Arena now has real power. When you become the trusted standard, you shape the entire field. And now there's a company with financial incentives managing that standard. That opens new questions about influence and bias. But so far, the team has handled that responsibility carefully. They've stayed independent. They've kept the system transparent. Here's what to watch. If Arena stays true to its mission, transparent, independent, community-driven evaluation, then the $100 million valuation is just the start. It could become the essential infrastructure that AI development orbits around. If you're curious about which AI models are actually best, go vote on Arena right now. Your participation is what makes the whole system work. Follow for daily AI news.